It all happened in 1997, in a small village called Morada de São Tomé, located in the municipality of Itajuba, Amazonas. It was a quiet, isolated place, nestled between the rushing river and the vast expanse of the Amazon rainforest. By day, children played barefoot while adults divided their tasks under the scorching sun. At night, however, the atmosphere transformed. The forest, which once seemed like just another part of their daily life, became an abyss of shadows and horrifying secrets. The villagers often speculated about what lurked among the trees, but none dared to speak of it aloud. In the heart of the jungle, they said, lived a creature not of this world, the forest's guardian, the Capelobo. Josias, a young lumberjack, was the exception to the rule. Stubborn and defiant, he mocked the myths that filled the village's evenings. To him, the Capelobo was nothing more than a fabrication, an excuse to keep illegal loggers from venturing into the jungle. There are no monsters in the forest, he often said with a cynical, mocking smile. But the night he decided to challenge his beliefs, fate had a grim surprise in store. The wind carried an almost supernatural stillness as Josias ventured deeper into the forest. The light of the full moon filtered through the dense canopy, creating a dance of shadows and light that seemed alive. He carried a torch and a machete, tools that symbolized his overconfidence. As he walked, the sound of his own footsteps echoed around him, but soon he noticed something strange. It seemed like there were more footsteps than just his own. He stopped and slowly turned. Only the motionless trees stared back at him. Shaking his head, he chuckled nervously. "I'm getting as crazy as they are," he muttered, referring to the elders' tales. But what began as whispers of the wind soon morphed into something else. Cracks like snapping branches. Footsteps, heavy and deliberate. Josias spun on his heels, his torch trembling in his hand. "Who's there?" he called out, his voice wavering and echoing into the night. There was no reply. Just the sound of footsteps growing closer. Amid the shadows, something moved. It wasn't human. Josias's heart pounded against his chest, but he refused to believe what he saw. A tall, hunched figure emerged between the trees, its body covered in thick, tangled fur. Its elongated snout, resembling that of a giant anteater, moved slowly, sniffing the air. And its eyes, its eyes, glowed a vivid yellow, pulsating with an unnatural hunger. The creature stopped at a safe distance, observing Josias with a chilling intelligence. It was a no rush. Josias tried to move forward, but his legs trembled. For a moment he thought he must be dreaming. Then the Capelobo let out a horrifying sound, a roar that seemed to come from the depths of hell. The ground quaked beneath him and the trees seemed to shiver. Josias stumbled backward, panic flooding through his veins. He ran, too terrified to look back. His feet clumsily trampled over roots and rocks as the sound of the Capelobo's pursuit grew louder. The creature's steps, swift and unerring, echoed like thunder among the forest shadows, amplifying the terror of the moment. Josias tripped over an exposed root and fell. Before he could scramble back to his feet, an unbearable stench assaulted his senses. A wild odor, a mix of decaying flesh, earth, and blood. When he looked up, the Capelobo was there. The beast loomed over him, its hot, rancid breath brushing against Josias's face. He raised his machete, but his hands trembled uncontrollably. The Capelobo stared at the blade momentarily, as though mocking the pathetic attempt. Then, with terrifying speed, the creature swatted it away, sending it clattering into the darkness. "Please," Josias tried to beg, but the words caught in his throat. He knew there would be no mercy in the creature's eyes. This was no mere predator, it was the jungle incarnate, a primal force exacting punishment on those who violated its laws. The Capelobo struck. Its claws tore into Josias's flesh, and the pain was unbearable. A scream rose in his throat but was drowned in the gush of his own blood. The young man's world darkened as the creature continued its relentless assault. Then, in a final act of unspeakable horror, the beast pierced his skull while he was still alive, using the opening to suck out his brain until the last flicker of life left his body. By morning, the villagers found Josias's body, or what remained of it, in a horrific state. His machete was embedded in a nearby tree, and the ground was smeared with blood and entrails. Massive, inhuman footprints encircled the scene. The elders shook their heads, murmuring about what could have committed such a barbaric act, concluding that the very creature they most feared had claimed another victim. The younger villagers, terrified, made the sign of the cross and kept their distance. And so, the legend of the Capelobo grew even stronger. The The villagers now avoided the forest at night, lighting fires and reciting prayers. They knew that Capelobo wasn't just a story. It was the guardian of the shadows. And the forest, its domain, would never forgive those who disrespected its sovereignty.